Sun starting to set here at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Matt Vasgersian back with Bill Schroeder. The last game has been completed, but all 56,000 plus fans are sticking around for what promises to be a memorable walk down history lane, if you will. We are promised appearances by a lot of Packer, Braves, and Brewers greats from some of the most celebrated teams of the area, and I'm sure there will be some surprises along the way as well as we tonight officially say goodbye to County Stadium.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been the culmination of a long week homestand for the Brewers, a 10-game homestand, and everybody been talking about the final ceremony. The preparations have been made, and I would suggest if you don't have them already, have the tissues very close by.
You know, before we get into the ceremony, there are a number of people whose careers won't be celebrated on the field tonight, as many of the athletes will. And those are the people that have worked here at County Stadium, in some cases since the place opened, in some cases since the Brewers got here for the 1970 season. Whether it's a ticket taker, whether it's an usher, whether it's a person that works in the parking lot or in the concession stands, they are the people behind the scenes that have really made this place go, not just the players on the field. And
it's not just the people that are still working here. Some of the folks that were responsible for a lot of the success of this organization that are no longer working with the Brewers. Dick Hackett, Bill Haig, we owe a big debt of gratitude for getting us over here, the broadcast department. But some of the people have been here since day one, 1970, Warren Abramson, Betty Grant. Those folks really have a lot to do with the success around here, and I am sure that they're going to be a big part of this ceremony.
People whose careers have transcended different managers, different general managers, certainly different starting pitchers and starting batteries, the people behind the scenes, both at County Stadium and across the street at that wonderful baseball palace that will be Miller Park next April. People whose tireless efforts, round-the-clock work, grounds crew, ushers, etc., who will close out a wonderful chapter in sports history here in Wisconsin and open a brand new one in April of the year 2001.
We're very much looking forward to the opening of this beautiful palace that they're going to call home. Will the Milwaukee Brewers, Miller Park. Had a chance to go through that baby about a month ago. About 80% completed, about 42,000 seat capacity. All the luxury boxes, all the suites, just about everything. They made a roof lift this morning right before the ball game, and there's only 3 left. So Miller Park looking good, and everybody around here, all 56,000 plus people, anxious to see the way the Brewers intend to close out County Stadium.
Now, the Braves ended their storied history here with their final game being played on September 22nd, 1965. The Brewers officially closed down this place today, September 28th, 2000. The ballpark with a long and storied history, and a lot of those very poignant memories will be celebrated in moments as this final ceremony proceeds. You know, we talked about some of the people behind the scenes that have made County Stadium work over the years. There are too many of them to name, but I do feel it important to bring that up again. People like the ushers and people work out in the parking lot and in the ticket office that their careers aren't celebrated tonight, but without those people, we wouldn't really be able to do any of this tonight.
Well, again, I'm sure that most of those folks, along with Bernie Brewer, the Chalet is not going to be going over to Miller Park in the capacity that it is right now, but as you mentioned, a lot of those folks that are responsible for the success here at County Stadium will no doubt be over in Miller Park next year.
I don't think there are too many people that have a perspective on County Stadium quite like you do, partner, because you enjoyed many years here as a player, a lot of years here as a fan watching the Packers, and a lot of years now behind your belt here in the broadcast booth. You've seen just about everything there is to see at this place.
Well, again, I bow to some of the experience of some of the folks listening that have been here a lot longer than myself, but I have had some of the greatest memories of my entire life right here at this ballpark, not only as a player, a fan. When I went to the Packer games here, a lot of great close relationships with the people here, and as a broadcaster, I think a lot of the great memories that I associate with this ballpark come sitting up here with you and Jim Paschke and Bob Uecker and Jim Powell. It's just been a fabulous experience for me, and I'm very sad. I'm very sad that the place is shutting down. It really didn't hit me until yesterday. I was on the way to the Pfister, to the press conference and the luncheon, and I just started reflecting about some of the some of the things that I enjoyed here, some good times, some bad times. I mean, I had some horrible games here at County Stadium, but I did have some really good memories. And, you know, just seeing the guys and seeing them this morning, last night over at the Pfister Hotel, it's just a big, happy family, and everybody is so excited about being here, all the way from, you know, Ron Theobald, who played here a long time ago, to Dale Swaim, Rob Deere. Some of them were contemporary Brewers. It's just good that the Brewers, first-class organization, these people have done it right.
And building well for the future, the promise of Miller Park and all that we have in store for us as fans in the coming years is really a wonderful thing to anticipate. As we talked about in regards to County Stadium, this was the nation's first publicly financed ballpark, built back in 1953 for $4.8 million. That is about half of what a major league ball player of superstar status may earn today in a year. They got this thing built, completed for under $5 million. Of all the memorable games played here, we've had emails from fans throughout the past couple of weeks on our Midwest Sports Channel telecasts, sharing with us some of their more poignant memories. We talked about Harvey Haddock's perfect game here in 1959, one he would end up losing after 12 perfect innings. Hank Aaron's home runs, a lot of them along the way, and a rather memorable one on July 20th of 1976. Number 755 came here to all-star games at County Stadium in 1955, and again 20 years later in 75. Robin Yount's 3,000th hit, Paul Molitor's 39-game hitting streak, something you had the privilege of being involved with, and one of the guys involved in that hitting streak, one of your boys, Rick Manning, was unable to be here tonight, as a couple of other of his contemporaries were, but I'm sure if you talk to a Rick Manning or a Don Sutton, they would have their own memories. Those guys unable to share this moment with us tonight. At this point, we're going to turn the proceedings over to our PA announcer here at County Stadium. Let's throw it over to Rob Edwards.
Home plate will be transplanted to its future home at Miller Park, where the tradition of Milwaukee Brewers baseball will continue well into the new century.
And you're watching what may become a rather tedious process. That's not easy.
No, it's not easy digging up home plate. That is sunk in there pretty good. Dave Miller, Gary Vandenberg has some of the guys with the pitchfork. Not a pitchfork. What is that? Pickaxe. That's what that is.
Pickaxe, pitchfork.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a farmer.
Home plate is being dug up here at County Stadium, and that little red wagon that you saw a moment ago will be used to transport it just outside the center field fence and bring it to Miller Park, where it will be installed shortly. Everybody's taken a turn at this because there are so many people involved with this grounds crew. Dave Miller, and Gary Vandenberg do an outstanding job here with this grounds crew, as we've talked about a lot on these telecasts. Hey, that's coming up easier than we thought. I think they had it loosened up and ready to go.
I don't think they're supposed to be sticking that pickaxe into the plate. That's going over to Miller Park, as well as all the infield dirt.
There's Gary. Gary Vandenberg, who's been here for so many years, running this great operation on the field. Players throughout the league, both American and national, although they have problems with some of the accommodations here at the ballpark with the old clubhouses, etc. Rave reviews about this playing field ever since the place opened.
Yeah, once they get on the playing surface, one of the best in all of baseball. The grass perfectly manicured, and the infield dirt, very rarely do you see a bad hop. And that dirt will, in fact, go over to Miller Park.
Modest transportation, taking that home plate over to Miller Park. Members from the Girls of Summer Softball League charged with transporting that rather important bag. Let's go back to Rob Edwards.
Wisconsin has had over a century-long love affair with sports, none more endearing than with the teams that called County Stadium home. the Milwaukee Braves, the Green Bay Packers, and the Milwaukee Brewers. For 48 seasons, County Stadium has served as our personal time capsule of a great many keepsakes. The world's finest athletes have entertained millions of appreciative fans at this ballpark. Generations of sports fans made pilgrimages to County Stadium to follow their heroes. Their legacy is preserved. Their memories of the Grand Dame will forever be cherished. Tonight, we write the final verse in the final chapter. And what better way to complete County Stadium's saga than with the legends who made it famous? This season, Bob Uecker celebrates 30 years as the voice of the Milwaukee Brewers. As a youngster, Bob grew up watching the old Milwaukee Brewers at Borchert Field. He first followed the Milwaukee Braves when County Stadium opened in 1953. Today, we are privileged to have Bob lead us in saying goodbye to this old ballpark. Your attention is now directed to the Brewers dugout. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice that made Milwaukee famous, Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Folks, I don't have to tell you how honored I am to be with you and to address you on this momentous occasion. This ballpark has been home to me for most of my life. And just like you, it has a special place in my heart. There are two other familiar voices in Wisconsin sports history who I would like to introduce to you now. We have all enjoyed listening to them over the years, and we are delighted that they have joined us today. This first gentleman spent 45 years in the sports broadcasting business, covering college and pro football, Major League Baseball, and the Olympics. I personally owe him a great deal. He has been a mentor to me. He and Tom Collins took me under their wing and taught me how to be a play-by-play announcer. He has broadcast Braves and Brewers games in the 60s and 70s and was elected to the American Sportscasters Hall of Fame in 1993. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a warm welcome back for a great friend and a beautiful announcer, Merle Harmon.
Well, the great Merle Harmon, who we had on our telecast just moments ago, it seems. A great friend of Milwaukee. Very deep roots in this community, with a lot of his family still making Milwaukee home.
and still very knowledgeable about what's going on with the Milwaukee Brewers on and off the field.
Thank you, Uke. What a thrill it is to be back in this ballpark. My first thrill came in 1964 when I came to broadcast Braves games following a legend, Earl Gillespie. And with Tom Collins and Blaine Walsh, we had a wonderful year. The second year turned out to be the saddest year of my baseball life because Major League Baseball left. And it was heartbreaking. But then one of the most thrilling moments for me was in 1970 when I came out of that dugout to meet the Milwaukee Brewers. And what terrific entertainment they have given us over the years. How about 1978, Bambi's Bombers? And Harvey's Wallbangers. And a World Series in 1982. The team was 13 years old when it won the American League pennant and went to the World Series. And you fans made it possible with your tremendous enthusiasm. And so I thank you for being so kind to me over the years. And it's such a joy to be back and see the stands full and all the enthusiasm. And look what you've got waiting for you.
Longtime sports directors, one of the first pioneers of radio play-by-play. I remember him very well as the voice of the Brewers when they played at Borchard Field. When the Braves moved here from Boston in 1953, he became the Braves broadcaster and stayed for 11 seasons. In addition, he was the play-by-play announcer for the University of Wisconsin football for 31 years, handled the radio duties for the Green Bay Packers in the 1950s, and was the daily source for sports in Milwaukee until his retirement in 1985. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure and an honor for me to invite back to our house the Earl of Milwaukee Sportscasting to join us here tonight. How about a warm welcome, Earl Gillespie.
One of the most beloved voices in all the Midwest. That of longtime baseball, football, and sports in general man, Earl Gillespie. We have seen more of Merle Harmon recently than we have of the esteemed Mr. Gillespie. It is a thrill to have him back.
My thanks to Bob Euchre. He's done an amazing job for 30 years entertaining you baseball fans. I'd like to say, first of all, that I'm home again. 48 years ago, I was standing at home plate for the first game in 1953 for the Milwaukee Braves. And what a great, great years we had with that ball club. I want to thank Wendy Selig-Prieb, for the wonderful time they've shown us here, inviting us back, and a chance for me to visit with some of the great stars of the Braves, the Brewers, and the Green Bay Packers. I would also like to tell you, fans, that this crowd you see here today is what we had every night in the old Braves days in the 50s. And thank you. Thank you for being such wonderful fans.
Thank you, Earl. Great to have you back, baby. Fans, we all have our favorite memories of the players, games, and events that took place at County Stadium. To help us relive some of those wonderful times, we have assembled some unforgettable moments in County Stadium history. We direct your attention to the scoreboard as we take a little trip down memory lane.
Now in the 11th inning, here comes Hank Aaron. And he hits a ball to left center field.
The pitch to Henry Aaron, a swing and a drive back into center field, going back towards the wall. It's back at that fence.
You couldn't tell for a fleeting moment. It was a rifle shot of Hank, so you knew that it was really hit. It looked like it was going, and then it went. And it set off this really wild scene.
And is it caught or not? It's a home run. The Braves are the champions of the National League. Henry Aaron just hit his 43rd home run of the year. Holy cow.
Here I am, 23 years old, sitting in my hometown, watching the Milwaukee Braves win the 1957 pennant, and I cried.
Ballparks never look better than when filled and decorated for the Fall Classic, the World Series.
Burnett pitch swung on. Line grabbed by Matthews, who steps up third. And the World Series is over, and the Milwaukee Braves are the new world champions of baseball.
Warren Spahn receives the Cy Young Award as baseball's best pitcher, and Hank Aaron is the MVP.
Greatest thrill I ever had in baseball, bar none, was the year that we clinched the pennant here in 1957, when I hit the home run off Billy Muffet, and we were able to go and defeat the Yankees in 7 games. That, to me, was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me as a ball player at that time.
On December 23rd, the Packers clinched the Western Division title again behind 2 touchdowns from Travis Williams. The 28-7 victory over the Los Angeles Rams is the final game coached by Vince Lombardi at County Stadium. On July 20th at County Stadium, Hank Aaron drove a Dick Drago fastball over the fence for his 755th and final home run. Trailing 3-2 in the 7th, the stage is set for what many say was the most unforgettable hit in Brewer history. 2 outs, bases loaded, and Cecil Cooper at the plate.
Cecil motioning to the ball and then looking and seeing Gantner and Charlie Moore hugging each other at home plate. It looked like they were going to kill each other, and just the excitement and the electricity in the ballpark, and of course that being the game-winning hit for the American League Championship.
When Cooper ripped that base hit to left for the go-ahead run, 55,000 fans went wild.
I think the loudest I ever saw County Stadium was when Cecil Cooper's base hit drove in 2 runs in the 5th game against the Angels to give us a lead in that 5th and deciding game.
In the 9th, Pete Ladd forced Rod Carew to hit a one-hopper to short, and with that, the Brewers were headed to the World Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Game 5. The final game in Milwaukee is the 3rd straight record crowd of over 56,000. Mike Caldwell is back on the mound, but is not as effective as he was in Game 1. The Cardinals bang out 14 base hits, but plays like this by Paul Molitor and a diving catch by Charlie Moore keep Caldwell and the Brewers in the game. Robin Yount provided most of the offensive support. Rockin' Robin posted his second 4-hit performance of the series, including this home run to right field. The Brewers win 6-4 as fans storm the field. Milwaukee is just 1 victory shy of a championship. But it was not to be. Back in St. Louis, the Cardinals win Game 6 and 7 to take the '82 World Series.
A curveball! Drilled to deep left. Gonna get way out of here and gone for Deer. And they have tied it at 4.
Deer's 3-run shot sends County Stadium into delirium. But it would get better. Gantner, there he goes. The pitch, a swing and a fly ball. Right field and deep. Get up and get out of here. Gone for Swaim. And they've done it again. 12 in a row on a 2-run blast by Swaim to win it. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. Do you believe it? '87 would produce one more streak, Paul Molitor's pursuit of Joe DiMaggio. Joltin' Joe had hit in 56 straight games in 1941, a record considered unbreakable. Paul Molitor was a career 300 hitter, and on July 16th, he got hot. No pitcher could keep him from stroking his way onto the bases for over a month. During the streak, whenever Molitor would step to the plate, fans were on their feet. On August 25th, the streak reached 39 games, the 7th longest ever.
The 0-1 pitch. Swings, and here it is! A base hit into right center. He's done it. 3,000 for Robin.
On that historic night in 1992, Robin became the 17th player in history to collect 3,000 hits.
We were in the middle of the pennant race at the time, and every game was big. And I was more disappointed after that game that we had lost and lost a game in the standings than I kind of faked it, being excited about the 3,000th hit when the game was over. I mean, it was certainly a thrill the moment it happened, but I was pretty bummed out when that game ended.
When Robin got his historic hit, the first players to congratulate him were Paul Molitor and Jim Gantner. Yount, Molitor, and Gantner were the best of friends and the backbone of the Brewers during the success of the late 70s and 80s. When the team needed a clutch hit or a critical out, one of this trio would usually deliver. They played together for 15 seasons at County Stadium, unheard of in the modern era of free agency. Together, they collected 6,399 hits, the most by any three teammates on any club ever. Molitor and Gattner left after the '92 season. Molitor to free agency and Gattner to retirement. Yount played just one more year without them. Molly, Gumby, and the Kid will always personify Brewer baseball, and those who saw them play will remember their special bond. County Stadium may have sustained structural damage from sonic waves in 1994, when in the final seconds of the last Packer game at County Stadium, a young Brett Favre dove into the end zone to beat Atlanta and put the Pack in the playoffs.
Favre is on the run. Favre is down the sidelines. Favre, touchdown! He dived into the end zone, and the Packers score with 14 seconds to go.
Unbelievable. What a lunge by Brett Favre. I've never seen anything like it, Jim. What a play. What a way to get this team into the playoffs.
As a shining new ballpark, the Milwaukee Braves and County Stadium shattered league attendance records. In the years that followed, fans would witness both National and American League pennants, 2 All-Star games, 3 World Series, and a World's Championship. Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers dominated pro football here, and a young quarterback named Favre dove into stardom. Through the decades, there would be no-hitters, Bambi's Bombers, Harvey's Wallbangers, the Brewers' '87 streak, and 3,000 hits for the Kid. From the greatest pitching performance in history to the final jewel in the crown of baseball's home run king, these are the legends and the legacies of Milwaukee County Stadium.
A delightful look back at some of the memories here at the ballpark as we turn it back to Bob Uecker.
Those events, those games, those players are all special to County Stadium. The memories are preserved and passed from generation to generation like a family heirloom. Tonight will be yet another invaluable treasure for each of us. It has never and will never be replicated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to welcome back to County Stadium your great heroes of yesteryear.
It is our pleasure at Midwest Sports Channel to be able to bring you this closing stadium ceremony, commercial-free.
The first that I would like to introduce tonight spent 14 years as the general manager and played a very, very important part in the success of the Brewers and will always be a favorite of mine. He is seated over here near the Brewers dugout. How about a warm welcome back for former Brewers general manager Harry Dalton.
Harry Dalton was indeed the architect of the Brewers' success in the late 70s and early 80s.
Pulled off that trade that brought Raleigh Fingers, Ted Simmons, and Pete Vukovich to the Brewers to catapult them into the playoffs.
Once again, it's our privilege to bring you this closing ceremony commercial-free.
He spent 23 years in the big leagues, 15 seasons with the Milwaukee Braves and the Brewers. Saturday marked the 43rd anniversary of his dramatic home run right out here at County Stadium that gave the Braves the National League pennant in 1957. Baseball's all-time home run king, right fielder number 44, hammering Henry Aaron.
What an appropriate way to begin this closing ceremony. Perhaps the greatest to ever play at this ballpark. Baseball's all-time home run king and one of the most beloved athletes in the history of the game. Although he went into the Hall of Fame as a Brave, Henry Aaron, in finishing his career as a Brewer, became the first player to ever wear a Brewer uniform and be inducted into the hallowed grounds at Cooperstown. Baseball's all-time home run leader is also a record holder in many other categories. Runs batted in, extra base hits, and total bases among them. Made his major league debut at the age of 20, opening day 1954. Stepped into a roster spot left vacant by the injured Bobby Thompson. The 24-time All-Star, Henry Aaron, the first legend introduced tonight.
Under legendary coach Vince Lombardi, he was the National Football League's premier pass rusher. He earned all-pro honors while helping the Green Bay Packers to 5 titles in the 1960s, including the first 2 Super Bowl championships. Number 87, defensive end and Hall of Famer Willie Davis.
Came to the Green Bay Packers in 1959. Named All-Pro 5 times. To the Pro Bowl 5 times. Holds Packers records for all-time fumble recoveries with 21. Helped lead the Packers to 5 NFL titles. Never missed a game in his 12-year career.
And ran with his tongue out long before Michael Jordan did.
Elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1981.
The man with the mustache. He showed the Milwaukee Brewers how to become champions in 1981 and 82. The first relief pitcher to earn the Cy Young Award and MVP honors in the same season. Number 34, Hall of Famer Raleigh Fingers.
Elected to the Hall of Fame in 1992. At the time he retired in 1985, he was the career leader in saves. 341 games saved. A man who shaped the closer's role in the 70s and 80s. A phenomenal 1981, enjoyed by the man with the handlebar mustache. Most valuable player and Cy Young Award winner.
One of the first young prospects to come out of the Milwaukee Brewers farm system. Milwaukee's first draft pick in 1970. He hit 16 homers as a rookie. Number 15, catcher Darrell Porter.
Made his Major League debut September 2nd, 1971 with the Brewers. Took over as full-time catcher in 1973. Named the first of 4 All-Star games in 1974. Excellent defensive catcher.
Darrell Porter is the first of the legends to want to stand in that home plate cutout area and drink it all in.
Finished his career with 1,369 hits.
He played for 3 pennant winners, including the 1957 world champion Milwaukee Braves. In 1953, he hit safely in 20 straight games. Number 48, left fielder Handy Andy Pafko.
Andy Pafko, a 1957 World Series hero. Hit a cool .333 that year, did the man who also played down the road with the Chicago Cubs. With a defensive style so distinct, they actually call it the Pafko when you dive headfirst for a ball towards the infield. Andy Pafko retired as a player in 1959, but stuck around with the Braves as a coach for 3 years. And he threatened to go into a Pafko dive right there, it looked like.
A Wisconsin native. A Wisconsin native and a part of the Milwaukee Brewers triumphant trio for 15 seasons. A member of the Milwaukee Brewers 25th anniversary team and the all-decades team of the 80s. Number 17, Jim Gantner.
What a day for Jim Gantner. Gumby, they call him. Fiery, intense, knew anything it took to win. Major League debut with the Brewers in September of '76. Teamed up with Robin Yount to lead the American League in double plays in '81 and '82. Batted .333 in the World Series in '82.
But now appropriate that Jim Gantner goes out to touch second base on his way in.
He was the first Brewers hero. He shares the Brewers rookie record for most home runs, belting 17 in 1970. Left fielder, number 12, Danny Walton.
The 17 home runs in 1970 was a career best for Danny Walton. An original Brewer. He came east with the relocation of the Pilots in 1970. Knee injury slowed down Danny Walton. but he will always be remembered as one of the first great
His
Brewers.
Grand Slam home run in the 1980 home opener is one of the most memorable moments in Brewers history. The only Brewers outfielder to ever earn a Gold Glove, number 16, right fielder, Sixto Lascano.
Gold Glove in 1979. Major League debut of the Brewers at the age of 20. 21 home runs, 21 doubles in 77. Heck of an outfielder, great arm. Led the major leagues in outfield assists in 1978. Was part of that deal with the St. Louis Cardinals to bring Ted Simmons, Raleigh Fingers, and Vukovic to the Brewers.
I love it how these guys are going out to their positions. Gander goes to second base, Porter came to the plate, and Sixto finds his way to right.
Known as the Moneyball player, he was the National League's premier shortstop in the late 1950s. A 7-time All-Star and member of the Milwaukee Braves championship teams of 1957 and 1958. Good old number 23, shortstop Johnny Logan.
Sheriff John, one of the best fielding shortstops in all of baseball in his day. A 4-time All-Star. He went to the first of 4 in 1955. Hit a home run in that big 1957 World Series. Has been involved in the baseball scene in Wisconsin for years after his retirement as a player. A local scout with the Brewers. An emotional night for Sheriff John.
Yes, indeed. Loves the game of baseball.
He was known as the Bulldog for his tenacity on the mound. The 1971 American League Fireman of the Year with 31 saves. A Milwaukee Brewers record that stood for 18 seasons. Number 20, the Bulldog, Ken Sanders.
Kenny Sanders still a part of the community here in Milwaukee. Loves Wisconsin and the Brewers. Good buddy of Bob Uecker. 1971, a heck of a year for Kenny Sanders. 35 saves with a 1.92 ERA. Set an American League record by finishing 77 ball games.
And a 4 handicap.
Play a little golf.
Kenny Sanders takes the mound.
A fan favorite, he is best remembered for his diving catch in Game 5 of the 1982 World Series. A member of the Milwaukee Brewers all-decades team of the 70s. Number 22, Charlie Moore.
But he made his major league debut with the Brewers. He was a backup to Darrell Porter. One of the all-time fan favorites here in Milwaukee. Moved to right field in '82. Threw out Reggie Jackson. Maybe one of the best throws in franchise history in the '82 LCS. A part of the Brewers beating the Angels in Game 5. Went on to hit .346 in the World Series that year.
Do just about anything on the baseball field at Charlie Moore. Call him Munchie.
He threw the first pitch in Brewers history and went on to win 13 games in that inaugural season. And I had the privilege of broadcasting the first Major League game he ever pitched in 1961. Here he is, number 24, Lou Krause.
Through the first pitch for the Brewers, it was a loss to Andy Smith and the New York Yankees. Involved in one of the biggest deals in Brewer history to put a pretty good team together. Brought George Scott, Jim Lonborg, Ken Brett, Don Pavletic to the Brewers.
A Wisconsin native, they said he was too small to play in the National Football League. He made the famed Packers sweep work, elected to the Packers Hall of Fame, number 63, right guard, Fuzzy Thurston.
Came to the Pack with a trade from the Baltimore Colts in 1959. And all-pro selection 2 years consecutively, a couple seasons later, and he wants to hit somebody tonight.
Means a lot to these guys.
Forget about the Icky Shuffle and the Dirty Bird. Fuzzy Thurston, one of the great all-time Packers, is having a great time tonight.
First time he's probably ever carried the football here.
I think it's about time.
Yeah.
That was great, Fuzzy. Great.
Instrumental in the Milwaukee Brewers turnaround in 1978. This outfielder played a key role in leading Bambi's Bombers. The Brewers MVP in 1978. He wore number 9, Larry Heisel.
Came over from the Minnesota Twins with a lot of power. Put the Brewers on the map. .34 home runs, 115 RBIs in 1978. Went to the All-Star game for the Brewers in that year. Injuries limited his playing time. Turned out to be a pretty good DH before retiring in '82.
A hard-throwing right-hander who won 80 games during the 1950s with the Milwaukee Braves, including 18 in that championship season of 1957. Number 10, Bonnie Bob Buell.
Bob Buell was the third starter in that rotation. But no less important, over an 8-year period, Bob Buell won 100 games, including winning 18 in consecutive seasons in 56 and 57. Spahn, Burdette, Buell, pretty good three-man front.
Heck of a year, wasn't it, in 57 and 58?
The great Bob Buell. Boy, the seamstress has been busy here for this event. Everybody in their period uniforms, the Braves of the 50s, the Brewers of the 70s, the Brewers of the early 80s. Bob Buell is not done until he steps it on the pitching rubber. The graceful tip of the cap. What a delight.
Yeah.
Bob wants to pitch.
Looking for the baseball.
A two-time American League home run champion. He holds the Brewers record of 45 home runs in a season. Always a fan favorite, center fielder, number 20, Stormin' Gorman Thomas.
Yeah, they call him Spike around here. They say folks came to the ballpark to see one of two things from Gorman: home run or a strikeout.
They got plenty of both.
And he did not disappoint.
Yeah, there was a 5-year period where Gorman Thomas led all of Major League Baseball in home runs between 78 and 82.
Came up as one of the best defensive outfielders, a center fielder, a great arm, good range. Two-time American League home run king, Stormin' Gorman.
Reveling in his glory in center field.
Ran into that outfield wall a couple of times, too.
Though he was traded, Gorman Thomas did end his career as a Brewer. One of the all-time Brewer greats.
The Brewers' all-time leader in games, starts, wins, innings, strikeouts, and shutouts, known as Pops, number 41, pitcher Jim Slayton.
Made his debut with the Brewers in April of 1971. He was traded to Detroit in a deal that would yield another legend to Milwaukee. Re-signed with the Brewers a couple of years later. And among the pitching records he holds with this franchise: career victories, games started in a season, career games started, and relief wins. That one draws the commish to his feet.
Yeah, Jim Slayton would come into a game, the Brewers would be behind, and all of a sudden the bats would perk up.
The spark that ignited the Braves' pennant drives in 1957 and 58, perhaps the finest second baseman in the 50s, the fourth member of the Braves team to be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame. Number 4, second baseman, Red Schoendienst.
Red Schoendienst, most notably one of the more fiery managers in all of baseball history. Longtime St. Louis Cardinal manager, great infielder for the Braves.
Perhaps just as well known as a Cardinal. Red Schoendienst talks about Milwaukee as the backdrop for his most cherished baseball memories, and still very much an active member of the Cardinals coaching staff.
This 5-time All-Star set an American League record by playing in 88 consecutive games without an error. He set a club record for most homers and RBIs by a second baseman the Money Man, number 7, Don Money.
Don Money on the top 10 list for franchise home runs. The first Brewer to start in an All-Star game way back in '78. Came to Milwaukee in a deal from the Phillies back in October of '72. Yeah, he could flat out pick it.
Good defensive third baseman and one of the only guys I ever remember that always looked for a slider on every pitch.
He found it a bunch in 1977. In fact, whatever he looked for, he found. Don Money on the hot corner.
This left fielder led the American League with 41 home runs in 1980. We called him the Spider-Man, number 24, Ben Oglivie.
Well, they call him B.O. around the batting cage. Made that sliding catch in the corner in left field against the Orioles in that final game in 1982. Preserved the victory for Don Sutton and the Brewers. Got him into the playoffs.
9 of his 16 years in the big leagues as a Brewer. And a sweet left-handed swing.
Boy, could he hit. 3-time All-Star for the Brewers.
Player in the 1957 World Series, a 2-time 20-game winner who came within one batter of pitching a perfect game in 1960, number 33, lanky Lou Burdett.
10 straight double-digit win seasons for the guy they called Lanky Lou. He looks like he could still go out there and give you 7 or 8 shutout innings. We talked about it earlier, partner. It was Lou Burdett who won that historic 13-inning game over Harvey Haddix in 1959, and that's when Haddix had pitched a perfect 12 before Burdett beat him 1-zip.
It was an original Milwaukee Brewer, along with Johnny Sain. Did I say Brewer? Brave.
It looks like he wants to turn over the signs.
Another Wisconsin native. He spent his entire 10-year career with the Brewers. A member of the 1976 Major League All-Rookie team, he wore number 46. Left-hander Jerry Augustine.
Spent his entire career with the Milwaukee Brewers. Named to the 1976 American League All-Rookie team. 9 wins, a 3.30 ERA. Retired in '84. Finished 6th on the Brewers' all-time career list for appearances.
He rushed for over 1,000 yards, 5 straight seasons during the 1960s with the Green Bay Packers. A 5-time Pro Bowler, he rushed for 186 yards in a game right here at County Stadium to help the Packers clinch the division title in 1961. Number 31, Hall of Famer Jim Taylor.
One of the greatest Packers ever. 5 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons. At the time, an NFL record. still ranks 9th on the all-time rushing touchdown list. 83 by the time it was all done. A 4-time Pro Bowler. And elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, back in 1976, shortly after his playing days had ended.
In that magical season of 1987, he pitched the first and only no-hitter in Brewers history. Pitcher number 20, Juan Nieves.
He threw it on tax day in '87. Win number 9 of that 13-0 start for the Brewers against the Orioles in Baltimore. Cold, rainy. Remember the catch by Robin Yount?
I'm sure you have recollections more vivid of that no-hitter than anybody outside of Juan Nieves himself, as you were behind the plate for all 9 innings.
Had nasty stuff that night. Arm troubles limited his pitching career. The only no-hitter in Brewers history.
He led the club in home runs in 1971 and 1972 and set the club record of 6 hits in a game back in 1974. Number 12, left fielder, Johnny Briggs.
John Briggs, a Brewer for 5 years. 21 home runs in 71 and 72. Came to the Brewers from Philadelphia. And when his 5-year Milwaukee career was over, he moved on to the Twins.
A 5-time All-Star who will best be remembered for the clutch 2-run single that put the Brewers in the World Series. He hit over 300 7 times in his career. A 2-time Gold Glove winner, number 15, Cecil Cooper.
200 or more hits 3 times in his career. One of the best defensive first basemen that I can remember. 300 or better in 8 seasons. Tied Jim Rice. 1983 for the RBI title. A home run in Detroit over the stadium, out of the stadium in right field. You needed a hit, Coop was your guy.
Oh, and a lot of flash bulbs are popping for Coop as he gets to first base. And I bet all those fans remember vividly that big game-winning single against the Angels in the '82 American League Championship Series.
What a wonderful night of memories. Wow. A 10-time All-Star on one of the winningest teams in the major leagues in the 50s. He went on to manage the Milwaukee Brewers, the captain of the 1957 Braves, number 1, catcher, Del Crandall.
4-time Gold Glove winner, 58 through 60, and then again in 62. A National League All-Star 8 years. He was behind the plate when the first pitch was thrown here at County Stadium. And also on the receiving end of Lou Burdett's no-hitter. He caught Warren Spahn's first no-hitter in 1960. And as Mr. Gillespie just told us, returned to manage the Brewers in 1972. We talked about it during the game telecast, partner. One of the most important figures in all Milwaukee baseball.
A wonderful man. Good baseball man. Not only a manager. Front office, great player. still involved.
One of the most prolific home run hitters, the only slugger to lead the team in home runs for 5 straight seasons. Number 45, we called him the Rooster, right fielder, Rob Deere.
20 or more dingers in 8 straight seasons. Looks like he can still hit him out, huh? Great arm in the outfield. Good outfielder, great outfielder. Saw the video earlier, tied the game. Game number 12 in that streak in '87. 3-run home run into the wind with 2 outs. Yeah, those are his folks out there in the right field bleachers.
Yeah, those were his people for a lot of years.
Pesky little hitter. He showed leadership qualities, earning the nickname the Little General. Second baseman, number 16, Ron Theobald.
Ron Theobald was one of the most popular early Brewers when the team moved here from Seattle. Didn't have the kind of name recognition as a Raleigh Fingers or a Ben Ogilvy, but he was very much responsible for starting some of the popularity of the Brewers after the Braves had left and after that long void with no Major League Baseball here in the area.
In 1982, he managed a team dubbed Harvey's Wallbangers to the franchise's only pennant. Harvey Keene passed away 12 years ago, but the Brewers fans will always remember him for his leadership and courage. With us today, Harvey's wife, Audrey, escorted by his son, Harvey Keene Jr.
Audrey Keene, more of a mother to the Brewers than anything else. Harvey Keene won a batting title in the American League with the Tigers. Batting coach for the Brewers. Took over for Buck Rogers in '82, responsible for getting the team chemistry together and going on to the American League Championship into the World Series against the Cardinals.
Well, what an emotional night it is for Audrey Keene. A lot of faces, I'm sure, that she hasn't seen in quite some time as she thinks about her years here as the wife of the manager.
A lot of tough years for Harvey Keene as a coach and a manager. Health problems, but through it all, able to get the Brewers to a World Series appearance.
Go ahead, 2 of her favorites there.
Gives you an idea what those guys thought of her, huh?
She was like a den mother around here from what you and I are told, and still highly regarded. West Dallas born and raised. What an emotional night.
In 1957, he led all first basemen in fielding and tied a National League record, scoring 6 runs in a ball game. He shined in the World Series with 2 clutch home runs. Number 14, Frank Torrey.
2 dingers in the 57 series against the Yankees. Got to the big leagues in 1956 with the Milwaukee Braves. Stepped in for the injured Joe Adcock at first base the following year and went on to the World Series heroics that same season.
Brother of Joe Torre, Yankee manager.
Well, it's good to see Frank Torre running along with a smile on his face. He's overcome some health problems. Strong and healthy and happy to be here.
His 39-game hitting streak in '87 will be forever remembered. A 4-time All-Star and 2-time Brewers MVP. He is part of the Brewers' triumphant trio. Future Hall of Famer, number 4, third baseman, the Igniter, Paul Molitor.
Rookie of the Year in '78. Club record 16 triples. Scored 136 runs in '82. Collected 5 hits in a single game in the World Series. Hit .357 in '87. 7th longest hitting streak in modern history, 39 games.
Well, you know, you'd be hard-pressed. Oh, there's that classic stance. You'd be hard-pressed to name the most popular Brewer ever. This would be one of a couple of guys that would be spit out of your mouth.
Ranks first in club records in stolen bases, over 400. Batting average .303, 5-time American League All-Star. 8th on the all-time hits list, 3,319.
Going into the Hall of Fame as a Brewer.
Organization for 25 years as a pitcher, an instructor, and a coach. Number 35, pitcher Bill Castro.
Bill Castro has seen his share of baseball at this ballpark. He stepped onto the field in August of 1974. 6 years as a player with the Brewers, a part of Davey Lope's coaching staff this season and next year, as it was announced that the entire staff will be back for the team's first year at Miller Park, and a big year in 1975. Been a Brewers coach since 1991, a big part of the franchise.
Call him Waymo down in that bullpen. Still lives in Milwaukee.
He holds the Brewers record with 14 strikeouts in a game and enjoyed his finest season in 1983 when he posted a 13-3 one-loss record. Number 30, pitcher Moose Haas.
Made his debut with the Brewers in '76. Not overpowering, finesse, control, through 3 consecutive shutouts for the Brewers. 1 game for the '82 ALCS against the Angels. 1983, his best year, 13-3.
Moose on the mound at County Stadium one last time.
His home run completed the Brewers' miraculous rally on Easter Sunday, 1987. He hit 25 home runs and drove in 99 runs from the 9th spot in the lineup. Always a fan favorite, number 7, shortstop Dale Swain.
That big home run that Bob Uecker just mentioned as a part of the team streak success to start the 87th. One of the moments in time forever crystallized when fans think of County Stadium here in Milwaukee.
All-rookie team in '86. Very good shortstop. His career kind of short-circuited, a broken leg. Dale really never ever
in
recovered.
Baseball history, won 20 or more games 13 times, including 6 straight seasons in the 1950s. Pitched 2 no-hitters, earned the Cy Young Award in 1957, and won his 300th game in 1961 right here at County Stadium. The 7-time All-Star, number 21, Hall of Famer Warren Spahn.
One of the original Milwaukee Braves back in '53. All-time winningest left-handed pitcher. 10 consecutive 20-win seasons.
Warren Spahn pitching to Del Crandall April 14th, 1953, and that's how this place opened some 48 years ago.
Shut out the Yankees in Game 2 of the '58 World Series. Both of his no-hitters right here, County Stadium.
Elected to the Hall of Fame in 1973. Been called by many the greatest living left-hander. Perhaps the greatest of all time.
'35 career home runs as a hitter.
One of only a handful of pitchers to hit 300 and win 20 in 1 year.
Record with 23 wins and 23 complete games in 1978. Won 2 games in the World Series of '82. Number 48, Iron Mike Caldwell.
Ball moved quite a bit. Mike Caldwell. The Yankee killer, they called him. Yankees just couldn't beat that guy. 81 complete games. You heard Uecker. 23 of them in 1 year.
That one's going to be around for a while, partner.
Yeah. It's a 3-hit shutout in Game 1 of the '82 World Series. 1979, 16-6.
A first-round pick from Waukesha, Wisconsin in 1978. He led the Packers in interceptions twice. Spent 12 seasons in Green Bay and was selected to the Packers Hall of Fame in 1996. Number 59, linebacker John Anderson.
A very familiar name, a very familiar voice within the sports community here in Milwaukee and the greater Milwaukee area. Certainly still a favorite in Green Bay. Consensus NFL All-Rookie honors in 1978. Season culminated in election into the Packer Hall of Fame in 1996.
There's a guy that could play hurt. Always out there, though.
He managed team streak in 1987. In 5 full seasons under his leadership, the Brewers won 422 games. Number 42, manager Tom Treblehorn.
Treb was named interim manager after George Bamberger retired right at the end of the '86 season. The manager of a 13-0 start in '87 by the Brewers.
A lot of players still credit Tom Treblehorn as being one of the most influential baseball people they've ever been in the company of, including baseball's all-time stolen base king, Rickey Henderson.
His name is synonymous with the Brewers. He spent his entire 20-year career in Milwaukee. 6 times he hit 300 or better. He was the 3rd youngest player to ever collect 3,000 hits and one of only 3 players to earn MVP honors at 2 different positions. Number 19, Hall of Famer Robin Yount.
Two-time American League MVP at 2 different positions. Made his Major League debut in 1974 at the age of 18. And yes, quite possibly the greatest Brewer of all time. The World Series numbers, the 3,000 hits, just part of the reason why Robin Yount remains as popular with fans today as he was when he was leading the team to its only World Series appearance in 1982.
Epitomized what a professional athlete should act, how the hell they should act. On and off the field. Led by example. As you take a look at Ben Barkin, one of the Brewers' original owners.
Played his entire 20-year career here. A big part of the reason why he is so loved.
Remember, Robin came in after the Brewers World Series appearance. Big crowd at County Stadium welcoming the Brewers home from St. Louis. He came in on his dirt bike, popping wheelies. Can't pop a wheelie with that.
We wouldn't want him to.
Went out on top. That's the way everybody should go out.
The man who continues to front the franchise, Robin Yount, makes one last lap around County Stadium. Throughout the day, and even during the game this afternoon. Fans do not forget how much Robin Yount and the rest of these County Stadium legends have meant to the community and how they have contributed into some of the greatest memories ever.
Remember coming to the ballpark and Robin Yount in that training room and John Adam, the training staff, trying to get Robin ready for a game. Bad back, bad shoulder. And through all that, ran out there to take his spot in that batting order every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention now to Bernie Brewer's Chalet in the center field bleachers. The county stadium flag has been on display since the start of this final homestand, and Bernie will now remove it. It will then be passed down the bleachers by Brewers front office personnel. Onto the field where the county stadium heroes will pass it on to the pitcher's mound and to members of the current Milwaukee Brewers team.
One last slide into the beer mug for Bernie Brewer. One last release of the gold, blue, and white balloons as the county stadium flag will be passed to the legends on the field. The flag will be folded and passed down the center field bleachers, handled by the many employees of whom we spoke earlier, folks that have worked here at County Stadium in a capacity other than player, who have been just as important to the success of this facility and the night upon night of entertainment that it has given us here in Milwaukee.
On the right of your screen, Russ Rutkowski, the guy that kept this old ballpark together for its final years. Maintenance supervisor here at the ballpark.
Too many folks to identify by name, but a lot of people who have worked here for a lot of years. And a great gesture in the Brewers respecting their contributions and saying thanks for the many years here at County Stadium. Now those on the field who had so much to do with our fond years of County Stadium memories.
Passing on the tradition of Milwaukee sports, Wisconsin sports.
Hands off to the Packers. Warren Spahn to Frank Torrey. The passing of the baton almost complete. Tom Trebelhorn to Del Crandall, to Earl Gillespie, to Merle Harmon, to Bob Uecker, to where this flag will be presented to the current Brewers by none other than Robin Young. Robin mentioned earlier today during the game in his chat with Len Casper that It's going to be a lot harder to leave this place at the end of the day than he originally thought.
For 48 years, County Stadium has served us and many others as our home ballpark. It's a great honor to be selected to present this flag to you guys. Each of us has touched this flag today, symbolic of how County Stadium has touched us. Furthermore, each of these men standing behind me believe, as I do, that much of our success is owed to playing right here in Milwaukee. Take this flag to Miller Park, your new home, with the same desire and dedication that has made us all proud to perform under it. We wish you and everyone to come our very best. Don't ever forget where it all started.
Wow. What an honor it is for us to accept this flag from you, Robin. You, more than anyone else, epitomize what it means to be a Brewer. It is truly a privilege for us to stand on this field with these legendary players and to share such a historic moment with you, the great fans of Milwaukee. County Stadium has served us well, and we will never forget her. But oh, will it be sweet across the street. We'll see you next season.
Mark Loretta representing the current Brewers, along with Jeff Jenkins and manager Davey Lopes. The current Brewers have to shuffle off to Houston.
Recorded at County Stadium. We will now have 4 ceremonial last pitches. Henry Aaron, Willie Davis, Robin Yount, and Baseball Commissioner Alan H. Bud Selig will throw the County Stadium commemorative balls to 4 youngsters from Milwaukee's RBI program.
Midwest Sports Channel, let's go. Right here.
And not a one of them mishandled. Each of the teams represented. Bud Selig, the man who not only brought Milwaukee baseball a second time, but the man largely responsible for moving it into the next generation when Miller Park is open next April.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it is your turn to receive a piece of County Stadium history. Before leaving the field, each of the County Stadium heroes will throw an autographed commemorative ball into the stands. Heroes, go for it!
And the legends giving one last souvenir, one last bit of County Stadium memorabilia, one last piece of history back to the fans that have come out tonight to say goodbye to the old stadium.
I wonder if one of those guys can reach us. Be a nice ball to have.
You better believe it. Paulie's hanging on to his. The underhanded toss. And if I think I know Paul Molitor as I do, and I don't know him well, he was probably looking for a kid.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Guy that has not stopped giving back. The 48-year history of County Stadium in Milwaukee. The first publicly financed ballpark is nearing its end.
Very difficult night for each and every one of the legends, and I wonder how Mr. Seelig feels right now.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention, please, to the pitcher's mound. Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker.
Thank you, Rob. Well, County Stadium, here you are in all your glory. 48 years have slipped away like a blink of an eye. Yet, the memories housed within your walls will live on forever. At first, you were called a jewel in the waiting, though soon a suitor would come calling. You promised to welcome all who visited, and they came, first by the thousands, then by the millions. A champion was born in your midst, and you stood proud when the rest of the world wondered how. Yet, those good times would not last. Broken-hearted, unwanted emptiness became sadness. Yet, you never asked why. For perhaps, just perhaps, you alone knew that the spring would bloom again. Oh, how you have changed in so many ways. Yet, one thing remains: a bond between heroes and fans, and an ambition to succeed. It was here that boys became men. Men became champions. And champions became legends. It is a very sad time for me, for I have been here as a fan, as a player, and for the last 30 years as a broadcaster. But tonight is the final curtain. It's time to say goodbye. We will never forget you for what was will always be. So long, old friend, and good night, everybody.
Well, the lights are dead here at County Stadium, and the light adorning the Miller Park marquee is shining like a beacon in the distance as we have run the gauntlet of emotions tonight, both before the game, during the final game here, and certainly in a moving post-game tribute toasting roughly 40 of County Stadium's most remembered heroes from this long 48-year history here.
Yeah, it was an awesome ceremony. I think the Brewers really outdid themselves in closing down the old Girl County Stadium. You can tell that a lot of the players that they had brought back, Packers, Braves, Brewers, you know, the broadcasters, Earl Gillespie, Merle Harmon, Bob Uke, you can see he really had a tough time with that those closing comments, but Uke, the true professional that he is, was able to get through it. But I don't think it was a very overwhelmingly happy day for anybody that partook in this ceremony, particularly and including the fans. But it was just a tremendous way to say goodbye to this old ballpark.
Yeah, we knew that it wasn't going to be easy, and I think Robin Yount might have put it best when he said he's been in town for a few days, and he said, I thought it was going to be easy. The ballpark is old. We're all looking so forward to Miller Park, but once you get here and once those memories start to run through your mind, and with 56,000 some odd folks screaming and emotions running wild, it's a lot more difficult than anybody ever anticipated. We certainly have enjoyed bringing it to you, and we thank you for tuning us in tonight.
That was tremendous, and I agree with Robin. The first few days here at the homestand, the thoughts started coming back, but on the way to the ballpark today, I started having those feelings, and right before the ball game, it was very difficult knowing that this would be the last time that we would be at County Stadium, but we certainly look forward to next year at Miller Park.
Well, the lights are off here at County Stadium, and they're not coming back on again. Thus ends the 48-year history of Milwaukee County Stadium. We'd like to thank you for being a part of our MSC coverage of these final ceremonies as we close the old girl down one last time. The lights are off, and as we leave you, we'll leave you with a video summary of the proceedings here this afternoon. It was an emotional day indeed here in Milwaukee. On behalf of everybody here with the Milwaukee Brewers and at Midwest Sports Channel, on behalf of my partner Bill Schroeder, our producers Tom Ponke and Gary Kirby, director Matt Gangle, and the rest of our very talented crew that brought you not only this one tonight, but Brewer baseball throughout the past year and years. This is Matt Vasgersian signing off one last time from County Stadium. Thanks for watching. Thank you, County Stadium. We'll see you next year.